know the score.
All right. Hopefully, I just got to quickly go on to Twitch on my phone to make sure that it is streaming on Twitch. And then we will kick it off. Where did that go? That's not what I wanted. Come on. There we go. All right. We are good. All right. All right. Everybody ready?
I think so.
All right, cool. So starting off in Rookie League, the Washington League, right? We have the Drunken Ladies versus and oh boy, you know what? I did not print out my notes, and to look at my notes, I need to not look at this slide. Actually, you know what? I might be able. What did I see here? Washington is no. I think that it's Washington. I think I could be wrong. I think Washington is the one we tried to get all the top rookie teams into.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, let me quickly see if I can pull up my notes on my phone at least. Where did you go, you little bugger?
I'm pretty sure. I think GE said Adams was the League One. Yeah, it doesn't sound correct actually. It doesn't check out.
Yeah, because Drunken Ladies I thought was pretty darn good, and I know I made BMS on my son's account, so that I would have a team in this, and I went through the whole season thinking, and Wiggle Warriors, that's Feep. So, right.
I don't think Wiggle Warriors is in that league. I think you play San Salvador Scorpions.
You are right. I do play San Salvador. What are my notes? And I have it right here in my notes. Washington League. Yeah, I have Ninjas, Drunken Ladies did it once already. Not only are they the number 1 seed, they're also undefeated in league play with only 1 loss on the ladder. It's no secret. I expect them to walk away victorious over Dr. Edgar's 11-3. Props to Ninja. There are not many that I would pick to beat Dr. Edgar. And in the second game, Dolomites 11-3 San Salvador Scorpions are going to sting BMS once again. If I had a penny for every time I lost to Dolomite, I'd be a rich man. Seriously, I wish I had lost the tiebreaker to the Pounders. So I have Drunken Ladies and San Salvador, not Wiggle Warriors, winning in the first round. And I open the floor to anyone that wishes to speak about the Washington League matchups. Going.
Now, which game were we talking about first again?
Sorry. Why don't you talk about Drunken Ladies versus
It's going to be a terrible name going forward if he sticks with it's just awful.
I stick with what I want.
Well, it's terrible. I mean, these are the two best teams in this league, right? Dragon Ladies and like just by the numbers.
By the numbers, right? Because I think Drunken's won, and technically is wild card, but I believe that's because they're in the same division. I think they had both pretty.
I have the second best record.
Yeah, second best record, but also too, if you like go to the matchups, like Drunken Ladies is like 1 in offense and 1 in defense. Edgar's like 2 in defense, 3 in offense. It's like a lot of low numbers for both of them.
Verified. I went and verified your information. It looks like it's a top match. Yeah.
Real quick, I want to look at the weather. I should have done that first.
It's
light snow.
No, an 8 mile an hour wind.
Yeah, 8 mile an hour winds, negligible. That's whatever. Not that cold either. So just light snow. So it's not that bad of a playoff game.
Not like last season, right?
Yeah, not like last season. Although the first game was, I think, clear skies, right? Pretty sure it was, which is unusual.
Yeah, last year it was clear the first game.
Now, does someone know if this team by Ninja, is it still zone, or is it
It's man.
hybrid? It's man? Okay.
It's a man, basically all man base.
All right, then, yeah, Edgar's going to lose.
All right. Anybody?
Just flat lose.
Oh, go
My
ahead.
defense is basically the same.
That's the thing. Defense is basically the same, but I think if you look at like what they've done over the course of the season versus your team, they're just a little bit more consistent offensive performance. A little bit.
Yeah, actually, I don't disagree at all. His team is just better. I haven't done much with him, and I built him weird on purpose, so I don't see.
Yeah, the only team he's even lost to is Caboth, which was pretty early in the season.
One loss is pretty hard to argue with, but
Yeah.
the matchup was only a 14-point game. But then again, it was also a shutout. So,
The only thing I actually would levy a criticism against Ninja looking at his team is he just never dominates anybody. It's always
Defense.
21-0, 17-3, 14-0. Like, he's got a smothering defense, but man, he's never had to ask his offense to win him a game. Not once this season.
I think my teams are and Ninja's teams are very similar though. Man defense, pretty good man defense, low scoring, and I don't really have an explosive offense. Even though Edgar has graciously shared some of his offense with me, and I kind of borrowed some of Scott's offense from the freeze by scouting him. So
Yeah, the only thing I get concerned about is that if you have a consistent kind of puttering along offense, like in snow, right, you can get down, let's say 7 or 10 points early on just because, that's the way it goes. And now you're looking at a really bad morale spiral because it's cold. So you get upset even faster, and if your offense isn't quick to respond back, the longer the game goes with a deficit in points, the worse the morale spiral gets. They can just get ugly for teams that don't
And if
have
you watch the first, we played twice this year in both games. I think the first one he won 10-0 or 14-0. And the second time, I know neither one of us game planned, but it was 6-3 literally 2 days ago. We already play super close, which like I said, I haven't game planned, but I don't think he has either. And that game will purely come down to probably who manages to get more sack fumbles.
I was just going to say, if there's anybody that knows how to flip that morale switch, it's Edgar.
Yeah, I think this game's pretty close to 50-50, but I'll give the advantage to Ninja just because he has a pretty good grasp of rookie, especially for a newer coach. A really good grasp of rookie, and I just think that the numbers just favor him a little bit.
Yep, no, even for me, I go against my own team. If this was like sophomore level, I could say I could manipulate things to win. I think he still, for the most part, has a much better shot at winning than I do.
All right, your takes on San Salvador versus BMS.
San Salvador versus EMS. I just want to throw out there in the chat. I know you went against your own team there, Breaking Dad, but Monsoon chose you over San Salvador.
Yeah, I'm also choosing Megrim over Dolomite.
Y'all crazy. I'm choosing Dolomite.
Look, Dolomite might be the current best in the game, barring a few fluky games here or there with the amount of work he is putting in. But I can't lie to you, my boy sucks at rookie. He just does. He's not a rookie coach.
He is always strong at rookie, and he started the season really strong and then just started dropping games. And that's mine is also Dolomite has a very strong history of collapsing in playoffs. He's a giant choker, and when it snows specifically.
You ain't gotta call him a giant choker though, like that. You could just say that he has some issues and left it at that.
I love Dolomite. I want to work with him on a team, but he has the biggest history of choking of anybody.
Yeah, I don't know if that's his fault necessarily. Some things, hey, for one, how fucking dare you, by the way, with some of the wild ass games you've stolen from Dolomite with like 4 fucking special team return touchdowns in a single game and shit like that, and like 8 interceptions. And then you're gonna sit here and be like, oh, he's a fucking choke artist though, this piece of shit.
In one single game, it was 3 kick return touchdowns and like 7 interceptions.
Yeah, so yeah. You haven't felt pain like Dolomite's felt to know. Anyway, though, he does suck at rookie, so I expect him to lose, but not because he's a choke artist. I just think he's not as experienced in this aspect of the game, and I think when you get down to who has experience, Agurm is the opposite of that, right? He's been here, he's done it forever. I think he can win this game.
That's so funny because that was not the intentions of this team. Before I started watching Blue Mountain State and on Netflix, if you guys haven't watched it, it's absolutely fucking hilarious. My team was, just for fun, and I just wanted to have a horse in the race. No idea whatsoever, and quite honestly, felt guilty that it came down to the way that it came down to us just edging out Mad King Craig. By like 1 point in the tiebreaker. I seriously, with this team, BMS, it's just meant to be a fun team. I would have rather seen the Pounders in there than BMS. But we'll do the best that we can do, knowing that Dolomite has been my kryptonite when it comes to playoffs.
Yeah, and just to touch on what Monsoon said, he said in the chat that he thinks that Dolomite will be elite as they go up, and yeah, absolutely. Like, no knock on Dolomite overall. Like, by pro or by vet, he'll be kicking all our asses again. It's just in rookie and sophomore, he seems to have some troubles.
All right, unless anyone else has anything they'd like to say on Washington League, we'll move to Jefferson League. Jefferson League. Oh, you can see I messed this up. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
that's fine. This is only 2.
I pushed pretty hard to get this content created and did a rather subpar job. This first top bracket should be the Nightmares versus Nairea's Albuquerque Experiments. And this is what I have written there, despite my slide. A battle of 2 silent but deadly coaches, Shamrock's Nigerian Nightmares and Nairea's Albuquerque Experiments. The last time these 2 played, the Experiments won 20-17, giving the Nightmares their only league loss. We'll see 2 MVP caliber quarterbacks, Gunnar Witherspoon and Xavier McHenry, battle it out. But I think halfback Courtney McKnight will be the nightmare that puts an end to the experiment. So that's my say on the first part. On the second part, Feeps, 13-1 Wiggle Warriors will take Ty Davis's 8-6 West Coast University to school. The combination of quarterback Ronnie Pack and halfback Lauren Guerrero will prove too much to stop for defensive ends Thomas Alley and Clam Grace and the rest of the West Coast defense. So there you have it. Those are my picks. The Nightmares over the Experiment and the Wiggle Warriors over West Coast University. Your guys' thoughts?
Start with the West Coast versus Wiggle Warriors game just because I think this is just Veeps to take. So there's not a lot of thoughts there as much as just Veep is great at the game. Wiggle Warriors has always been, this is the second iteration of them, a really frustrating team to play. And if you don't understand how to stop the offense that Veep runs, you just lose by default. So is Ty Davis and Sperry the Kid able to do that? Like, do they know how to handle that offense? And then do they have the tools in the defense to even do that? I don't think they do. So I think this one just kind of goes to defeat by default.
I agree.
But the other one I think is interesting. Smash Rock and Neria. They're two coaches that would put as like in a dead heat in terms of where they're both at in the game right now. The only thing that I think could favor Neria in this game is that in Rookie, Smash Rock does this thing where he builds these incredibly fast wide receivers. Like they basically run like a 4-2 or a 4-3 in Rookie right from the get-go, which can be really dangerous because they're going to get behind your corners. But in the snow, I don't know if he can do that. And if he can't, then all of a sudden he loses his passing attack, and then he's purely a run team. And I don't know if that one-dimensionality will serve him well here.
Look, for these ones, like, Veep should just run away with that game. I won't ever have any confidence in Ty Davis. Just can't. He's just hasn't. And then what are you saying, like Smash Rock versus Neria?
Yeah.
I think Smash Rock should have the advantage here, just simply off of history. Neria, when he pops up, can usually start making a run, but even usually his teams have a tendency not to really push to being a little more difficult until sophomore or even pro.
I mean, yeah, but I'm just looking at the team and like the matchups, just from like a personnel perspective, just really kind of lend itself to Neria in this case. Neria has a power back. We all know how great they can be in the snow. That really benefits him. And he's got CIT wide receivers, which also great in the snow. And then, you know, on the other end of that, you've got Smash Rock, who has a halfback that runs a 4-5 in Rookie. So he's only speed. And you've got wide receivers who run 4-3s. So he's only speed. So can he do it when his biggest weapon is neutralized?
Yeah, and it's looking at it just briefly, to me it looks like Smash Rock's team has lost bigger losses to people, but he's managed at the same time to play most of the top teams a little closer, which is weird.
Well, he is a prolific game planner, Smash Rock. I think he plays most of his games. I don't know if Neria does all his games, but Neria does as well. And that's why I don't know if there's really an advantage.
I think for Smash Rock, it's really going to come down to needing some RNG because of all that speed he has.
One thing
I don't see him pulling that one off.
Yeah, one thing I will say about Smash Rock is he's always been wily, right? He's always good at, like, he'll find a play or two that really is kind of a dagger for your team. I remember
It's usually one not used a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I remember in the original Grape Apes when they were coming up, he found FS Tiger at a 4-4. Just ruins any kind of inside run that I was doing at the time of Grape Apes. Almost lost that game. I didn't just because of happenstance or, some things went my way. But like that play completely neutralized my entire offense and he found it. So he's good at doing things like that. It's just, he hasn't done himself any favors though in the way his team's set up for winning in playoffs.
All right, moving on to the next league. And I think you guys were right. I do think that Adams, looking at these teams, well, let's see. I have Fractal Forest. No, come on, guys. This can't be like the top. This can't be the top rookie league. It's got a GE team.
No. Yeah, there's no way.
So, even though it does have a Cabo team,
No.
the Legend of Osiris, and Dual City, I still think that the George Washington, the Washington League was.
Well, the Washington League still has a 10-point average rank higher.
Yeah,
Washington
definitely like a rookie.
76 is the average rank for Washington League versus Adam League's average rank is 86. So on average, Washington League is still better.
If Adams League didn't have Kavoth in it, nobody would give it a second thought.
Exactly.
Sorry, higher. So let's see what I have written for this one, and then I'll open the floor. Cavo's 14-0 Fractal Forest versus GE's 11-3 Choose Wisely. Has GE ever beaten Cavo?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he has actually. In Bad Bet, though. I don't think he's said before Bet.
Receipts.
No, I got no receipts, though. It never happened, actually, come to think of it.
And most certainly not in the playoffs.
Playoffs? No, never in the playoffs.
I don't think Cavo will let that happen.
Cavo's not LX30. He wouldn't allow that.
So,
That was a fluke game, and it'll never happen again.
so I'm taking Fractal Forest to beat Choose Wisely. Then number 1 seed, Original Jokers, 12-2 Legend of Osiris versus Wild Card, Higher Growth's Dual Cities Hybrids. The Legend has the upper hand in this one, but don't count out Higher Growth and his think tank coaching staff. I'm going to take the upset in this one and pick the Hybrids to steal the victory in a close one. And again, Osiris, I hold Osiris near and dear to my heart. He was one of my mentors in coming up. I learned like a lot from him back in the day when he was owning Rookie League with like his mostly CPU team and such. So yeah, that's what I have to say on those 2 games. Cavo's, Fractal Forest, and Dual City with the upset. What do you guys think?
This one, there's just no way GE beats Cavo's team. I've played that Choose Wisely team twice with mine, and he just, without even trying, it just doesn't do much. And GE's thought of how he did it just doesn't add up great. And that's still one of his better teams I've seen. He can't deal with that Fractal Forest defense whatsoever. So there's nothing he's going to be able to do in rookie. And then with Osiris Dual City, for me, looking at it, even me being a part of that Dual City setup, Joker has this. It's just that with Joker, and I don't know how much Kurt's actually doing on the game plans for it, but Joker's been getting better without being as much upset with things. And that Osiris team actually plays most of the other big teams pretty close. And Dual City, I think their Kim's still lower with this, so that'd be their big issue.
Yeah, I'm going to just... Good.
Go ahead with the, I think.
Whoop, you're breaking up.
Sorry.
And I really
Fractal
want to hear you
Forest there for
upset.
the first one. For the second matchup, I don't want to give much away for anything, but I think we'll go ahead and steal out one against Osiris. It's going to be extremely tight, but I do really respect Osiris with Joker's doing over there and his rookie campaigns and everything. It looks like a solid team. It's Bill City, for example, is created just for enjoyment. So it's running on a hybrid defense, and the offense was built around the Herons' dual quarterback system he's trying. So whether he can hammer out a good enough offense is also
that's one for me too. I have no confidence Hayro in playoffs.
Yeah, your boy, I don't think has ever won one, right? Since he's come back.
He's won some championships, but they've been in when he was first rookie leagues and they were weaker leagues.
Has he actually won one that I can think of? Well, it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, he beat Dark Age a few times. Twice, I think.
No, he never beat Dark Age in playoffs.
Okay, they didn't make it, and he won. I know he won that league because I was on the coaching staff. I didn't do anything, but I remember he won like 2 championships, like rookie and sophomore, rookie and pro.
Well, either way, I know that Higher Gross going to lose this game, and I'll tell you why. Because he has a power back, but that power back only has 11 fumbles. And that means that he must have like a 100 carry grip already, and some kind of fumble preventing SA, which is not nearly man enough to win a playoff game. There's no risk taking at all whatsoever here. This is way too safe and cowardly. So he can't possibly win just off of this alone. He even built him late. He built him on like game 8, and even when he had like no chemistry, he still didn't match up more than 11 times in 20 games.
I mean, high gross halfbacks tend to be a pain for everybody, though.
Tell me right now, Higher Gross, does that halfback have less than 90 carry grip in rookie?
Yes.
There's your answer.
It's exponentially lower.
This is outrageous. How do you not fumble more than that as a power back with no chemistry early on? Anyway.
Because I'm like that.
Yeah, just build different.
All right, we ready to move up to sophomore?
Yes.
All right, moving on to sophomore. See if I butchered this. Let's see. Kentucky versus Mud City. Yeah, I didn't even do the second game. Oh, I apologize to my to our listeners. I really butchered this. Thank goodness I have my strong supporting cast. All right, at least I can talk about what I wrote about Kentucky and Mud City, and then lean on my team to support me when it comes to Anatolia and the Memphis Slashers. Although maybe there was a reason why I didn't say much about Anatolia and Memphis. But anyways, this is what I've written down for Kentucky versus...
Is CPU.
Yeah, that's Memphis.
This is what I have written down for the Kentucky Mud City game. Look who's back. Back again. Myrick's back. Tell a friend. Myrick's Kentucky Mountaineers, 14-0. Face-off versus Mangus's Mud City Manglers. Not much to see here except for the return of Myrick. The Mountaineers mangled the Manglers 55-3. Much like Bob Murdoch used to mangle his wrestling opponents back in the day. I don't care what you say, wrestling ain't fake. Just ask Bob. This should be an easy championship for the salty old vet. No disrespect, although it's probably going to come out sounding disrespectful. I didn't jot it down, and I don't even know who coaches Anatolia or Memphis, but I'm not sure.
Memphis is a CPU.
Then maybe that's why. Maybe Kentucky, yeah.
And Anatolia is a coach by the name of Blue Wolf, who seems either new or or alternate account.
Looks like the only team he plays well is GE.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say any more besides that if Kentucky doesn't win the championship here,
that's shameful.
Yeah.
Looking at it, Anatolia beasts. I mean, they're going to beat the CPU, I have to presume. But if you go and look at their games, they're 11-17 on the season right now. They haven't won a single ladder game all season. They haven't beaten a single team in the league.
Outside of the league.
Right. But, I mean, that's not elite, right? So, I don't have any confidence that they can do anything against Bob. Like, they're going to beat the CPU, I assume. But then again, they had to play a CPU Phoenix Falcons, and they lost to them 0-6, even in their own league. Last time they played Bob, they lost to him 0-55. And then you go over to the other side, and you've got the Manglers, right? But Manga 7 is an okay coach, I guess. He's responsible for Monmouth Evil Monkeys, I want to say, top of my head, which has always been kind of like a alright kind of gatekeeper kind of sort of team and vet where like, they're good to surprise you every once in a while, things go their way, but never win a championship. I just don't see how there's really any competition. Like, this is almost why Elite Leagues exist in the first place, is to keep people like this away from people like Bob. It just so happened that he was the odd man out. He was number 13, and, like, this is the result, right?
Yep. Yep. Anything else on the Tungsten League? Moving on to Sophomore Elite, Cobalt Blue. Why did I say Cobalt Blue? There's Cobalt. Man, I swear, guys, I was not smoking when I did this. Let's see. This is what I have written down. This is one of my picks for Game of the Week. Higher Growth's 13-1 High Growth versus Hot Hands 9-5 Underdogs. Higher Growth and Hot Hands are two of the hottest coach/owners in the game at the moment. Their previous matchup was pretty one-sided, 60-0 in High Growth's favor. I would not be surprised if this was a much closer game, still in Higher Growth's favor. And in Game 2, we have Monsoon's 12-1-1 Oryx versus Cavo's Kansas State with a record of 8-6. Another great game on slate. I have a ton of respect for both of these coaches. Looking at their history, I feel this one favors the experience of Cavo over Monsoon. So I'm taking Kansas State to upset the Orcs, and I'm taking Higher Growth to beat the Underdogs in a closer game than 60-0. Take it away, gentlemen.
You want to weigh
Start off with the Higher Growth versus Underdogs matchup. For some reason, the Underdogs' pass defense really matches up well against me, even though their run defense, I think, is ranked higher. But I think we pulled that one off. Game 2, Orcs, Kansas State. Kansas State, I think, really started to come on later on. And I win. I just want to play against Kansas State again. They kind of keep beating on me right now, so I need a little revenge.
I don't expect Kansas State to beat Monsoon. The nature of the team Kabuka has made is such that it doesn't really have, abilities to surprise you. It just presents itself. This is what we do. Can you stop it? It shouldn't be too hard for a coach of the caliber of Monsoon, especially in the snow. That said, the defense is pretty turnover-based for Kansas State, so there's always room for crazy shit to happen, like 5-6 fumbles or interceptions or something like that, and then you get short field position and maybe you make something out of that. But I just think that, like, the offense is so one-dimensional that I'll say this, ideally at least, it should lose. If it doesn't lose, then you get back into that like inklings of like, oh no, maybe this is another spam a lot where like you know exactly how to beat it, but no matter what you do, you can't. You know, you get kind of scared. I think if he loses or if he wins, as I say.
There's very much this is, I think High Growth should beat Underdogs just simply as High Growth's a better team, but also I don't think that Hot Hands is going to be very active as he said he wasn't. Just simply that he should win. On Dwork's Kansas State, sure, we've made Kansas State just could be a pain, but I mean, unless you're going to get Kavo to wake up and game plan and then tell me to game plan, you should be able to find our weakness and take that end off of us.
Yeah, the only concern would be the snow and the cold weather, right? Like 2 or 3 early turnovers in short field position, even if you just get field goals out of them, right? Like 9-0 going into the second half, like it could get bad. But
yeah, there's definitely that scenario that could happen, but I don't see it happening.
I'm not betting on it, I'll say that, right? Orc should win this one. It might be low scoring, like 10-0 or 10-3 or something like that, but that's how it should go.
Anyone else?
On the underdog side, I think underdogs actually could win this game, but like Edgar said, I was actually going to pick underdogs to win this game, but one, because I'm a prolific higher growth hater, as people know, but also because I think that the underdogs actually match up extremely well with higher growth. I don't know why they beat them so badly in their one matchup 60-0. But like Edgar said, if Hot Hands is just like out of the picture right now because he's back home with his family, then yeah, with no game planning for sure, I think higher growth just takes it.
On that,
Go ahead.
would be a hater. I have spoken with Hot Hands. We're pretty much running defaults in it. And he's busy. Unless he gets some spare time, does some changes, we're both running defaults.
That's kind of you, especially in the playoffs, man. I like to think I'm a kind person, and, you know, sorry, family is very important, but I'm going to take every advantage I can to win me a ship.
I think it's weirder because I don't know how good underdogs Hot Hands' tactics are for his defaults. If he was using my tactics, for instance, I would pick him to win then at that point. Because specifically how his linebackers are built on that team really matches up well with how you run the ball and how you pass. But without knowing how that would shake out, I'll still take you.
All right, moving up to Pro, the one and only Pro League, the Ice League, right? We have, let me get my notes back here. My phone keeps timing out on me because the battery's low. The third biggest of the big games, 12-2, Bo Diddley's Springfield Adams versus 12-2, GE's Galactic Empire. Believe it or not, the Empire won the last one, but Bo knows the ration of crap he will receive if GE beats him in the playoffs. So I have to take the Adams in this one, although GE should be considered one of the hottest newcomers if he wasn't such a dinosaur. In the second game, speaking of Monsoon's 12-2 Blood Ravens versus Alex's 11-3, a bad case of cowardice. There were rumors that the fucking Wizard King Alex wasn't going to show up for the playoffs. The real question is which Alex will be leading the team, the mighty fucking Wizard King or the shattered confidence coward? That, my friends, will determine the outcome of this one. So, Alex did indeed show up to the stream. So, it sounds to me like he's going to show up for the playoffs. There was talk during the season that you even might have been a little bit worried that this might be the first playoffs that we didn't have an Alex team. So, what do you say, my friend?
Alright, it's news to me if I'm game planning for it. I'll have to see if I find some time in a little bit here. because I think Monsoon, his team might have real problems matching up with mine, like just over the course of how much they've played. He did beat me in the last playoffs, though, so obviously he can do it again. But I think in particular, snow weather is my weather, so I think that gives me an advantage, especially with the way that I've got Slombo on my end. Things like that really kind of help me versus him. So I expect to win.
And what do you say about Bo versus GE? Is this going to be the first time you pick GE to win?
I pick GE to beat Bo here. This team isn't dynamic enough by Bo. It's almost like two teams that are basically the same fucking team, right? It's a GE team versus a pseudo faux GE team, right? Offensively. But the difference is that on defense, so for Adams, you've got just kind of a traditional 3-3-5 man base Bo defense, which is actually a little weak to the kind of runs that GE does. And on the other end of that, you have a GE defense that is what GE's always done, a run-crushing GE defense, which is exactly what Bo doesn't want to see, especially in the snow.
I think the problem here is with the Springfield Adams GE. I don't know what it is on GE because I know the guy's actually very intelligent, but when it comes to the game planning side, I think he's just going to get taken out because he's not going to adjust to be dealing with what Adams do best. That's the reason the Springfield Adams team really isn't something that can do a lot of things to challenge you on offense. It can really only do one or two things, which is what G should be good against, but I think he'll overthink it. Bo will get him. Bo will probably leave his defense best all inside run tagged and call it a day. But I don't see G has it. He should win, but I just don't think he will. And then you got Blood Ravens cowardice. I think Monsoon, once again, should win this game as Alex has tendencies he should be able to pick out and take over. And specifically, too, there's Slombo coming. Just don't let Slombo beat you.
Easier said than done.
Blood Ravens is a man defense. Should be a little easier, actually.
Anybody else before we step up to the big leagues?
Oh, I'll say Monsoon is better than me at the game right now. He needs some more experience in building it and shit like that. But as far as game playing and all that, he's better than me. He will beat me legitimately soon here, even if he loses this game.
Don't fall for it, Monsoon. Don't fall for it.
Yeah, Monsoon, don't let him sweet talk you. It's what he tries to do.
I forgot who it was. One of the guys. It was either Dot Ninja or Monsoon, or who was the other guy that came in around the same time as Dot Ninja most recently?
Yeah, Hot Hands and Mad King Craig. Are you talking about them or somebody else?
Younger guys. This was an older guy that kind of came back. That came in. I thought I was going to Salty. Is there a guy named Salty or whatever?
Salty the Knife?
Yeah.
He's involved with Mango, isn't he? I thought.
But anyway, one of them paid me a pretty good compliment. Actually, I think you saw it as well. Just didn't say too much to it. But that Sopo, my Sopo Red Riots, right, our collaboration, they were saying that they were playing better without you than with you. And I had to tell them that your main purpose on that team was the builds, and because of that, I was able to get them to do what I wanted them to do, even though they've only won one championship. But I took that as a compliment to me. Your builds, my scouting and coaching, because I know that I love scouting and game planning, whereas you like to build a team to do what you want it to do and then set it and forget it. All right, on to the bet. The Wind League. All right, here we have it. Wind League. D Carbos, 12-2. Jarvis Street Squirrels versus Original Jokers, 12-2. Testicles. D Carbo appears to have OJ's number, handing him his 2 testicle league losses. They say it's difficult to It is difficult to beat a team 3 times in a season. I'm not so sure. I think the Squirrels will three-peat. Second game, we have Rabid Lizards 11-3, Columbus Rabid Lizards versus Gonema's 10-4, some kind of disaster. This was a tough one for me to pick. 2 great coaches. I'm going to lean on Gonema's disaster to win what should be a great game. So I have the Squirrels and disaster winning. What do you guys say?
Joker's team should beat Jarvis.
Yeah, I agree.
That team cannot tackle. That is one of the worst tackling defenses I've seen in the game, hands down. So it's knowing that and Jarvis has actually, I think, lost every playoff game it's had except for one since it started this run. So this should be Tickles, honestly, easily. And then when you get Rabid Lizards and Gonema, I do actually think Gonema is going to show up in game plan and he'll manage to take Rabid out because Rabid just probably won't show up to do anything. And disasters have had issues,
like to see Gonema,
but their defense has been good.
My good friend Gonema get back to winning some ships. I love you, Gonema, man, but I think you worry too much about that undefeated record, that perfect season. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a little while since we've seen Gonema make some playoff noise, or am I wrong?
He's won some championships in some wider leagues, but nothing prolific, right? Nothing that really stands to like his caliber, what you expect. You know, going from like a top 3 coach, you know, now you're like, maybe he's top 10, maybe top 15, just off of recent performance.
Yeah, he's definitely better than his recent performance for sure. Too much focus on that.
Yeah, he's a lot like Bob, right? Where like he can go into hibernation, he'll still be a good coach, he'll still beat you on occasion, but like when they're in the game and really trying, that's when you have to be careful. But is that the Ghana we have right now? I don't know. Still good enough to beat Rabbit though, unfortunately, because I don't think he's going to plan for the game.
Anyone else?
Oh, just I also agree with Edgar. I think Jarvis loses to testicles. Jarvis is like very, very physical heavy. That's why they have so little tackling. The whole defense is like smothering fast, but it only does you so many favors. And then again, snow, right? So I think they lose that game too.
On to Mercury League. Cabo's 13-1 Six Semper versus Cabo's 10-3-1 Olympus Brood. Cabo wins. I'll take Six Semper to win this one. And in the second game, Fuck You versus that's another Cabo team, by the way. Versus 9 and
Cable's been waiting for someone to say that on a stream for so long.
I'm only disappointed that there wasn't a 4th Cabo team in there. Like, yeah, like why not just have the whole thing then?
He has another veteran team in another league too.
Yeah, it's an elite though.
What I want to know is how the hell does Cabo get 3 teams in a league, all in the playoffs, with 10 or more wins? All 3 of those teams.
It was that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hey, we're giving Bob a hard time for his Marshmallow League, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, given also, all of Cable's teams have been really good.
All in the playoffs with 10 plus wins. And then my other note was it's bad enough having to beat one Cabo.
I guess that would force it.
Imagine having to do it 3 times now. Ouchies. So what are your guys' thoughts? Any thoughts?
Going with the long shot, able to win it all.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is 6 Simpers are better than the Olympus Brew team, so they win. The FAQ
You gotta
will.
pronounce it correctly. Fuck you.
Oh, thank you, command. Fuck you. It beat XYZ. Yeah, I got you. It's Kalo will end up winning that team simply for the fact is that Czars isn't around, period. So it's one, if Kalo even thinks about looking at it, he'll win by a lot, but his teams do well. But 6 Semper's the best team in it that'll win it all.
All right, moving on. Get in there. 2 to go. We've got Ghost League. We've got Zachary's 14-0 Minnesota Vikings versus GE's OU Sooners. Did not go well for the Sooners the last time these two faced off.
You have this wrong, good sir.
Oh, no. What?
It's bad ideas versus Casey.
Did I have that written down here? Yeah. For some reason, like in my notes, I have the right things. Like I'll read my notes in a minute, but on the sheet I have the on the slideshow, I fact it up. So in the first one, the Vikings versus GE Sooners, right? I expect to see more of the same. So more Vikings to beat the Sooners. And is that the team that has Tebow on it that GE is always bragging about?
I'm sorry, I'm back.
Is the no? I can't remember.
OU is the one that G was winning early in the season and was trying to act like he was big dog, and I said, just wait, you're fixing to lose a ton of games. And he literally dropped a ton of games really fast.
Yeah, lucky to be the wild card. And then in the second game, it is indeed the Phenoms 9-5 Casey Crowns versus Dr. Edgar's 13-1 Bad Ideas, not Frederick Remington. Dr. Edgar's bad ideas are a bit of an enigma wrapped in an oxymoron. Dr. Edgar will tell you himself that they should not win, but it is what they do. Phenoms, Crowns.
No. They should win this game easy.
Yeah, but in general, I've been on previous ones with you where you said bad ideas, as a concept, shouldn't win, but they do win. Phenoms, Crowns are on the edge of greatness, but Dredger is the king of the hill. So yeah, I have bad ideas and the Vikings meeting up in the Ghost League Championship. Thoughts?
I mean, I don't see Casey Crowns winning against Bad Ideas. Although, to their credit, he finally expanded his offense. He's got actual, other weapons now besides his halfback. So at least he can present a wrinkle to you now. But I still don't see him doing it.
98-20.
Yeah, that's the only thing. They're thinking about, just running a completely halfback-centric offense for 8 seasons, right? Is all of a sudden you've got to remember how to run a regular balanced offense and how to build them, too, with the current meta. Casey Crowns historically has beaten Edgar in the playoffs once before. So it could happen again.
Team, though.
But no. Your actual Southside Rebels, I remember the first season I came into the game, lost to Casey Crowns.
Yeah, that is correct.
But, I don't see them repeating that this season.
All right, and now to the king of the hill, the best of the best, Jupiter League, the Veterans Elite League. Right, hopefully I didn't mess this up. All right, let me see what I got here on my notes.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, Bo's 14-0 Dream Team versus Cabo's 9-5 Olympus Brood. These are my notes. Damn you, Cabo. I see what you did there, and because of it, I shall root against you in this one. Go, Bo. Take that, Cabo, you Weasley rascal.
You're out of your mind.
Olympus. This is only because, like, when I was out of my mind doing this, preparing this, like, I came to this slide. I said, wait, Olympus Brood, they were, like, just in another league. And then I go back, yeah, Olympus Brood. And then I double look. Oh, BREW.
Yeah.
So
It's a play on words. That's fine.
I'm mad at Cabo for doing that, and therefore I am taking Dream Team to beat his Olympus Brood because of that.
You know, like an English teacher or something, you should love a play on words. Come on.
I do love a play on words. You watch.
That's funny. Yeah, that's good. That's totally. Yeah, that makes sense. You've got me. I follow the same philosophy. Everything's good when I do it, but if you do it back to me, then that's not cool. So it makes sense, actually.
Exactly. So Bo, I take Bo, and then in the second one, I take Dr. Edgar. So yeah, go ahead, guys.
Let's
wrap this.
You need to pick a team.
Take it away.
You need to pick a team.
Rebels. Just because they've been around longer.
You chose poorly. Pushback wins that game.
Yeah. Yeah. The reality is, even for my teams, they played this year, pushback this season. Specifically, the defense is a lot better, and that kind of gives them the edge. They force more fumbles. The D-line gives more pressure. Bo versus Cavo, this is specifically runs into me of if Cavo doesn't lie to me and actually decides to game plan, he beats Bo. And I'm thinking when he beats Bo, it's going to be like a 31-17 type beat. But if Cavo kind of just lackadaisical game plans, which is what I expect out of him, and I know he's listening, then Bo will get him. But the reality is Bo's playing against a zone team in the snow. We know Bo's just going to throw his wide receiver screens a lot and inside run. It's just that zone does not deal with it well. So it's how Cavo decides to attack that.
Heck, if I lets Bo beat him in the snow, I will not forgive him.
We can't tackle. We can't tackle.
You better beat him. There is no excuse. Nobody loses to Bo in the damn playoffs. And it's not going to be Cavo that starts the trend. Bo does the same thing every season. He wins 75% or more of his games. He gets to the playoffs. He completely fucking collapses. And I'll be damned.
He did it twice last year.
It's gonna lose like a chump.
Hey, I have a question for you, Edgar.
Damn.
So for our listeners, right? How do you go about a playoff game when you've got? This is different than like regular season. This is playoff. This is for a ring. How do you go?
So for a game like this, if I had other coaches that actually did game plans, I would actually tell them. Like, and I've had this before where I've had two teams and they played in playoffs before. If someone else helped me coach someone on the other team, I tell them, you game plan because I'm going to go game plan for the other one, assuming you're game planning. In this case, I do the complete offense and defense, top to bottom, for every game they've ever played. These two will, if they don't just get flat defaults already, I will basically give them the exact same offensive and defensive playbook and tactics and say, figure it out.
That's good. I think that's good for our like newer players to kind of understand. One, in watching this, and seeing a veteran coach, understanding how they handle it, but then also if ever down the road they find themselves in that situation where they've got two of their teams going head to head, how to handle it. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, a lot of times, especially when it's a scenario that truly, like if I do everything top to bottom, where I do for both of these, then I do nothing or they get identical game plans. But if it's a scenario, like I said, sometimes I get lucky that I've thrown another coach to help here and there, and then I'll tell them, you try to beat me, and I'm going to try to beat you, but that's about it.
Very cool. Well, Thank you all again. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. Another great stream. I got to sign off and try to clean up the house before my wife gets home. So I'll be talking to y'all.
Sounds good.
Take care.
Yeah, if you look like, even though Adrian Peterson's got good yards per carry, like nobody is